Hello everyone and welcome back to Crash Bandicoot 2 Cortex Strikes Back on the Sony PlayStation. I am Manuel Sheep yet again, and today, ladies and gentlemen, we are taking on the first, and this time I made sure to check before recording, of the Lost City levels, because in the last part I thought that was the first sewer level in the game, and clearly I've done like 2 or 3 before that point. I was a bit of a stupid move on my part. But anyway, yes, this is the first of the new Lost City type levels, and these are very similar to the Lost City levels in the original Crash Bandicoot game, although they're a lot better, primarily because the camera angles are better, the platforming is a lot better, and it's just a nicer overall thing to look at. Although you do need to be careful in these stages, because the biggest trap from these stages are certain platforms that rotate around. Now these platforms you can slip off, and Z-axis platforming in this early day and age isn't the best, you know, ladies and gentlemen, so it can be kind of tricksy, you know, ladies and gents, so just watch out for that. And also you need to watch out whenever you go on this death course, because Donkey Kong, well, he's got a vendetta for the old Bandicoot, because how dare there be another platformer other than the mighty Mario Brothers? Meh. So yeah, we need to jump over the Donkey Kong barrels in order to reach the edge of the death run. It's actually not that hard a death run to go through. You just need to keep an eye out, listen out, keep hearing for the barrels to be coming. You'll just hear this boom, 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 and usually on the second or third bounce is your cue to jump. So it's easy enough to get through. I don't have any real major troubles with it. And those were the platforms I'm talking about, by the way, those slippy platforms that sort of angled. They are very easy to die and just run off, so just be a bit careful, keep tapping towards the direction, and you should be fine. But the keyword there is should. I've died many a time back in the day on those sequences. And if you're wondering why I'm going backwards, well, simply because if you go backwards here, there's a number of boxes that have been left, and we also need to pick up the crystal that we just flat out skip if we go through the death, you know, if we flat out skip if we don't go through the death path. So hey, it's there, just be sure to pick it up before you leave the stage, you know, ladies and gents, otherwise we will be screwed, and that's no good. That's no good. And of course the turret things, but they also have to spew fire, which is still my, I have to say, fire is probably my least favorite obstacle. There we go, that's a word I couldn't think. I kept thinking objective for a minute for some reason. It's my least favorite obstacle in this game, because I think I might have stated this before, but fire in these older games, you can never quite clearly tell where the hitbox is. So you will sometimes get hit by fire, despite the fact you're half a mile away, and it's just, all I think of is how flammable is Crash Bandicoot. I mean, Jesus H. Christ. Actually, that kind of brings me up to Crash Bandicoot: The Wrath of Cortex, because there's this one enemy in that game that flat says, you look flammable, Crash. I think that enemy is also voiced by Whoopi Goldberg as well, which I don't quote me on any of this, ladies and gentlemen. This is going off the top of my head. At the very least, it sounds like Whoopi Goldberg. So take everything you hear from my voice right now with a grain of salt, or a lot of salt. It depends how much you would like to have on your food, as unhealthy as it is. I've always been a salt man myself. I've always like putting quite a bit of salt on my food. I know I'm probably going to suffer from heart issues in the future, but them's the breaks. And of course, we missed out on a hell of a lot of crates, as you can quite clearly tell. Do not worry, we will be getting those crates at a later date. Just not right away, because, well, there's a secret exit, as you can guess, somewhere else that leads us into the stage yet again. So, yeah. There's that. It's quite annoying. But anyway, now it's time for an unbearable level. I bet you guys can't bear the wait to see what's behind the doors. Well, this stage, ladies and gentlemen, I think this might actually be the final boulder level, technically. The only difference is, instead of a boulder, we're being chased by a bear. Oh my Jesus. Now, honestly, I find the boulder a bit more terrifying, but this is the hardest of the boulder levels by far, ladies and gentlemen, because you have to deal with lots of enemies running away from the bear as well as you. Got to deal with these grates that you need to spin into, and of course the electrical barriers, which nobody likes to mess around with. But you get this funny little animation whenever the bears get stuck in the fences, so that's a kind of a neat little touch I kind of dig. But seriously, despite the fact this is the hardest of the boulder stages, yeah, my words are struggling to come out of my mouth successfully. This is probably one of my favorite ones, just because there's so much going on, you know, ladies and gentlemen. But be careful when you reach this point, ladies and gentlemen, because as you can tell, there's some platform left. So let's see where the bear's gone, shall we? And the bear's completely disappeared. Now this is a very easy special area to miss, you know, ladies and gentlemen. And it's kind of mean on the developer's part, for lack of a better term, because there's no indication really that you can come down here apart from the fact there's a few planks of wood left. That's meant to clue you in, but I never got that clue when I was a wee lad. I had to look up a guide to figure this one out. Like, the only other way I could figure out how to get through this is when I start getting frustrated at not being able to find everything, and suddenly I start jumping into pits randomly. So, yeah, if you're in the stage and you can't find all the crates and whatnot, this is probably why, ladies and gentlemen. And this does double the length of the stage by double. I don't know where I was going with that sentence. My brain's just shutting off, I think, today. But one good thing about this sequence right here is this is technically a live grind spot. If you got that checkpoint earlier on, you'll be able to get those 2 lives every single chance you get. So basically, if you're struggling for lives, they will always respawn, so you can always just you'll be safe, basically. You'll never get a game over. And you can also see how many times I failed this just by looking at the live count and doing math. Honestly, I don't know how many times I failed this, because I can't remember. It's kind of bad that I can't remember, because I only edited this like 3 days ago. So, yeah, I'm not very good at my memory. My memory not so hot, you know, ladies and gentlemen. Never has been. Always been more of a in-the-moment sort of guy, as in comparison to a I remember everything sort of guy. Which is probably why a lot of the things I end up saying is probably bullshit, just because my brain's lying to me. That's right, I'm not talking bollocks. It's my brain talking bollocks to me. Oh god, run, just run. Yeah, that's why if you have an Aku mask on you at that point, I do just recommend just winging it and going straight through all the explosives, because that sequence is extremely painful if you don't do so. It's so easy to get nicked by a gun or just nicked by the bloody explosive. It's not worth the hassle, so just leg through it as quick as you can. Very tricky little sequence, and to be honest with you, that's one of the hardest sequences in the game, ladies and gentlemen, believe it or not. Or at least what I personally feel to be one of the hardest sequences in the game, because, well, it's just very tricky. Now, it isn't the hardest level in the game. That's coming up, and oh boy, is that level coming up. Oh, the one black spot on this amazing game is that level. I'm not going to spoil the level name or anything like that, but let's just say anybody who's played this game 100%, you know what level I'm talking about, and don't you dare say you don't know. Everyone knows that level, okay? That level is cruelty. It is flat out cruelty to any platformer fan out there. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Anyway, that shocking twist. That's me trying to be funny, and then the game just gives me a shocking. Anyway, just continue running away from the bear. This is basically all the same thing we've come to expect up until this point. Although, when we reach the final checkpoint, this level is going to be changing a little bit, ladies and gentlemen, so I'm going to say that. And one thing I'm not entirely sure about is, I don't know whether the bear actually destroys a lot of the crates or not. Like, some of the crates I think he will destroy, but not all of them, so just be a bit careful. And oh my god, gotta go fast! Wow! Totally radical! So yes, ladies and gentlemen, now we need to run away from the bear while riding the bear. Just bear with us, folks, because it's almost the end of the stage. No, I honestly like this sequence. It's sudden burst of speed. It really gets your heart pumping, you know. It's really adrenaline filled. And it's actually surprisingly difficult, especially when it comes to the point with the TNT crates. If you jump into the TNT crates whatsoever, you will die. So if you see a red thing, avoid it. If you see a blue thing, avoid it. If you see a wooden thing, collect it. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we do need to run all the way back up here. That jump to get to this bear, it's surprisingly hard to realize you can make that jump. So this is another one of those sequences where I had a lot of issues in the past, just because you don't think you can make the jump, but you can make the jump. But I digress. It's time for yet another bear riding level. And as I stated before, same old shindig. I do like these stages, but they are quite challenging. Especially this one, ladies and gentlemen, because the gimmick of this special stage is... Well, special stage. The gimmick of this bear riding stage is... There's practically no draw distance. We can't see bugger all. So, yeah, we do need to make use of well-timed running jumps in order to get through this, and we do need to be really, really on our toes or memorize the stage, because otherwise it's so easy to miss out on the crates and what have you, ladies and gents. Now, if you're... I don't know if I explained how to do the run, but in the instance I forgot to, or I just haven't, here's a reminder if I have. Basically, you push the circle button to go fast, and, yeah, you just need to sort of tap on the circle button, then tap the X button really quickly in order to make those long jumps. They're very challenging jumps, and I clearly jumped over that, ladies and gentlemen. No, actually, I'm gonna slow-mo see that. And here he is coming around the corner, and oh my goodness gracious me, he clearly tripped on the thin air. Oh, the humanity. Anyway, be careful by here, because if those TNTs go off, they will explode and they will hurt you, so there's that. But I digress. It's a very simple stage, very easy to get through if you know what's coming up. And if you don't know what's coming up, then, well, you should have plenty of lives at this point in time in the game to just get through without much of a hassle, so, But yeah, expect to do things like this a lot, where you suddenly, hey, I'm on a roll, I'm gonna reach the end, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, oh, that's cold! You land right in the ice, it's not cool, you don't want to be doing that, as I've demonstrated. Actually, I gotta feel sorry for Crash, because because the I don't know, whenever he's in an ice cube, wouldn't that be really painful? Because of the hypothermia and whatnot that will induce, I don't know, I'd rather not think about it. Now, don't go backwards, because even though there is a little alcove backwards that looks ominous, there is nothing there. Just continue moving forwards, and we will be heading on back to the main warp room yet again. And I think it's time to reach our boss battle, ladies and gentlemen. And who is the next lucky boss of the year? Well, you're just gonna have to bear waiting for a few more minutes until we find out. Are my puns draining you yet? Get it? Because I'm in the sewer area.
Crash, my boy.
My boy.
You are more than halfway there. But I'm sure you've noticed that things are getting harder. The last 10 crystals will be the hardest to gather. And our enemies will be sending their strongest forces to thwart you. I'll contact you again when you have completed the next one.
Okay, let's do this. Let's go and take care of the next minion. And I have to question, whose minions are these? Because a lot of people say that Embryo's minions, because that would make sense, because Embryo wants to stop Crash from giving Cortex the crystals. But it is clearly demonstrated that in the next game, onwards, Tiny the Tiger, this geezer here, and yes, I know, his name's Tiny the Tiger, and he's freaking huge. That's the joke. He works for Cortex, so I don't know what to make of this. But anyway, what you need to do for this stage, ladies and gentlemen, if you can't figure it out, is what you need. You basically need to platform on each of these things, and lure Tiny to each of these platforms when they're blinking red. Jump off of the platform before they fall down, because after they blink red, they will drop into the bottomless pit below. Now, even though he takes 1 hit of damage whenever he falls into the pit, you will die if you fall into the pit. So, trust me, don't fall into a pit. Just take your time. It's a little bit of a platforming challenge, but I do like this boss fight. Just because it's a pure platforming boss. It's a pure platforming boss battle. You know, you don't see them very often, mate. I tell you. Oh, I don't know what accent I just imitated, so I'm sorry if someone out there has an accent like that and I just offended you. It was completely unintentional. But yeah, after 3 jumps, he will end up dying and we will be victorious in yet another duel. Yeah, I do like this boss battle. Like I said, it's very rare you see platforming boss battles in gaming, and it's always a nice change of pace when you see a pure platforming boss where you have to jump to survive. Oh well, it's time for the next warp room, ladies and gentlemen, and this is the warp room that houses the hardest level in the entire game. Oh, not looking forward to that. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for watching. Hope you all enjoyed. Don't be sheepish, and I'll catch you all next time. Bye!